Hey Aubrey, how are you today?
I'm great, Lindsay. How are you?
Feeling good, feeling solid, excited to talk about Spanish. Are we talking
Yes,
about Spanish today?
we
Okay.
are. And I have a question just to start
All right.
out.
Okay.
Just take a guess. What percentage of English is loan words?
Oh, I would imagine a lot, a very high percentage.
Yeah, what do you think?
Um, Probably 50%.
You're
How about
very
that?
close.
Am I? Okay.
60%.
Oh, wow.
60% of English
I love
are
that.
loans. A lot of them coming from French,
Yeah,
Latin, but also Spanish. A lot of words from Spanish. We got a great question about this.
excellent.
We have talked about French a little bit lately, but not as much Spanish, right?
Right. We did a few episodes recently about words that kind of came over from French and when
Mhm.
do we pronounce it incorrectly in English. So go to episode 2138 called Are You Making These French Pronunciation Errors? I love the idea of talking about how English kind of mixes in with other languages, inspiration, where it came from, the roots of words. We can learn a lot, Aubrey, about our history.
Yes, absolutely. That was an amazing episode. If you missed it, you might not be following. Be sure to hit follow
Yes.
wherever you listen to your podcasts. And because, yeah, we have 5 episodes every week now, right, Lindsay? Amazing.
Yeah. And if you're following, you don't miss any bonuses. It just drops
Right.
right into your listening queue and we stay top of mind, right? The way to get better and to get fluent is to build a habit, right? And so that is, the episodes that are in my listening queue, Aubrey, are the ones I listen to. It's not the ones I think
Same.
about, oh, I want a podcast on XYZ. No, it's the one I'm following and that come down into
Absolutely.
my queue. Yeah.
Same. I go straight to latest episodes and
Yeah.
whatever I'm
Right.
following that's been downloaded there, that's what I play always.
Yeah, you got it. So this question came from Santiago, right?
Hmm.
And here, shall I read it? Very
Yeah, let's hear
simple,
it.
right? How many Spanish words are used in English?
Yes, and I have a feeling that Santiago knows that there are a lot.
Yes.
It's impossible to know exactly how many, but there are thousands. What's really interesting is there are a lot more in American English than in British English because of our
Oh.
proximity to Mexico and Latin America.
Mhm.
But there are also a lot in every English speaking country because of the, Spanish.
Yeah.
Yes, so there are Spanish words in every English dialect.
Oh, for sure. And different parts of the US too, right? I mean, here in Colorado, I see a lot more just Spanish words and street names. I'm sure you do in Arizona
Absolutely,
as well,
yes.
as opposed to when I lived in Boston. I didn't see that. Of course, you still saw it, but less
But
and less.
more here,
Yeah,
exactly. My daughter goes to Campo Verde High School, which means
sure.
greenfield, and so it's on Greenfield Road, so it's just very blended with English here in Arizona. We're so
Mm.
close to Mexico.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Okay, so what are we going to show our listeners today? Let's get into it
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
We want you guys to be comfortable using loan words that makes you sound so native and natural because native English speakers use we do not shy away from loan words from French, Spanish, from all these other languages.
Hmm.
And you also should be using them. And we definitely want to make sure that you understand them when you hear them in English as well.
And this will also give our listeners a chance to think about their own languages and kind of what are the attitudes in your culture towards words from other languages coming in, right? It's always maybe there's a debate in your country, right? There's a lot to talk about. It's a good connection topic for conversation.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's an interesting thing to talk. I love conversations like this. I'm interested. I'm interested in language. Where do words come from? Where does language come from? So let's dive in because we have a lot of
Okay.
vocabulary in English here. We're going to start just with states. A
Okay.
lot of the state names are Spanish. For example, Colorado, where you're from, right, Lindsay?
Yay! Not where I'm from, but where I live. Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We have a place called Red Rocks too. So this makes sense. So Colorado means, I guess, red colored. Interesting.
Exactly,
Okay.
mhm, it just means colored red, and then Florida means flowery in Spanish, of course, these all with a Spanish
Florida.
accent, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. And Montana. Okay. I actually didn't know that that was a Spanish word. It means mountain. I love Montana, by the
Exactly.
way. Oh,
I do too, it's beautiful. We used to go ice fishing in Montana every
oh.
winter. It's freezing, but yeah,
Yes.
something my dad loved to take us kids to do. It's a form of torture, really.
But it's a beautiful
It
state. I
is
mean, the
beautiful.
natural landscapes. Wow. Okay. So lots of states. I'm sure that we could have come up with others,
Oh, there are
maybe.
so many. There's a
Oh, yeah.
huge list, a whole bunch of states that
Oh,
are
okay.
all
Okay. Okay.
Spanish words.
Oh, love that. Love that. But it's not just states, it's cities too, obviously. Los Angeles, right?
Which
Means the
it
angels.
originally had like a really long name and it's been shortened now, so it just means the angels. And people will still
Yeah.
sometimes call it the city of angels.
Sure. Yeah. Las Vegas, the Meadows.
Yeah, which
Okay.
I didn't know. And then, of course,
Hmm.
San Antonio, anything that starts with San, Saint Anthony. There's cities that are named after saints.
Nice. And then foods, the best part,
Yeah.
chorizo, right? Means, do you like chorizo?
I love chorizo. It's like a
Yeah.
spiced pork sausage. I love it in eggs and beans, and it just makes everything delicious.
Oh, yeah. And pina colada, right? Means strained pineapple. So that's more of a drink, right? A pina
Yeah, a
colada.
pina
Yeah.
colada, we have it in the States, of course, is like a coconut pineapple drink, but
Hmm.
I didn't know what colada meant, so it means like strained pineapple, pina colada.
Interesting. And then salsa, of course, means sauce. Okay.
Yeah, so this kind of threw me off when I was in Mexico because in the States, we just use salsa to mean like this,
Right.
sort of a Mexican sauce that you dip tortilla chips into. It's
Right.
like Mexican food. Whereas when you're in Mexico, they would call like pasta sauce, that tomato
Yes.
sauce that we call sauce. It's just all salsa.
Yes. Yeah, I remember learning that when I lived in Argentina. My roommates they were actually Italian and a few Argentines, but they would always say the salsa. And they were actually talking about the spaghetti sauce that they were making us for dinner. So, yeah, that is
Nice.
a thing to keep in mind.
And of course, there are so many other foods, right? Burrito,
Yeah.
quesadilla, jalapeno. Like there's so many food words that, like you said, Lindsay, or you're going to find more in Colorado and Arizona, where we have a lot of Mexican food.
Yeah, I think I was telling Michelle this that in Colorado, mayo as a base in foods is much less common than on the East Coast. In on the East
Yeah,
Coast, when you say salad, in many cases, like chicken salad or egg salad means eggs with mayo, but that's so much less common in Colorado. They tend to put hot sauce on things, not white sauce. What do you?
interesting.
Is
Yeah,
that is
same in Arizona, right? It's probably
okay?
similar to the foods in Colorado. Lots of hot sauce, lots of cilantro-based sauce or chilies, lots of green chilies
Oh, I
and
was gonna
stuff.
ask you that exactly. Is
Yes,
are green chilies really hot? Green chili soup,
absolutely.
is that
I love
hot
it.
there? Okay. I
Mhm.
I kind of
Same.
have mixed feeling. I feel like it's a little earthy for me. I mean, I like earthy things, but it's a little earthy, but people love green chilies here.
Though I have to add, when you talk about mayo, because one of my favorite things that came from, I believe, Mexico is elote, which is
Yeah.
corn on the cob with
Yeah.
mayo and some other spices in it.
Yes. I
Delicious.
do
I
love
love
that
that
with the
so much.
cheese too, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
cotija
yeah.
cheese, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've just found that there's just not as much,
Interesting.
white-based sauces going on things. It's more the spicy things going on for seasoning
Yeah,
and for
I prefer
dressing of
that.
something. Yeah. I do like mayo too at the same
Yeah,
time, so I'll go for both.
yeah.
Okay, number 4 then. What are other words that we might
Yeah, so
wanna
these
know?
are two sort of general terms. Cabana is the first Spanish word. We use this to be a shelter at a beach or a swimming pool. You might say to someone, "Pardon me, are you using this cabana?" If they're sitting near, this is usually an umbrella or some type of shade at either a swimming pool or on a beach.
Right, or let's rent a cabana by the pool for the day, sure, to store your things and have some like you said, some shelter, right? Sometimes the
Exactly, some
sun just
shade
gets so
from the
hot.
sun. Yeah,
Yeah,
you might wanna rent a cabana while you're in California next week, Lindsay, if you're
maybe.
at
I
the
don't think I'll
pool.
have any time for
No, you're not gonna be at the
that.
pool?
No, no,
Okay,
no,
your
no.
trip is sounding less fun.
No, it's less fun. Yeah, we're not gonna be on the beach, but I would
No,
like to be. Maybe an evening walk on the
there
beach or
you
something.
go.
We'll see, we'll see. All right, so then we also say pronto, right? We say but of course, you say it with, in English, we say it with an American accent, obviously.
All of these words,
B
right? I have a
Right.
feeling a lot of our Spanish listeners, that your ears are bleeding because we're saying
Uh,
this is how we say them in English. We
right.
anglicize them, we're saying them in
Yeah,
an English accent for the most
yeah.
part.
Yeah, and it means right away soon, right? Same as in Spanish. So we need to leave pronto. Yeah.
Yes, or I'll get that done pronto. And we say this a
Yeah.
lot. We say it at work. We use this word all the time, pronto.
Love that. And then what would be the third?
Savvy. Savvy comes from Spanish, which means wise. She's always been
Oh.
very savvy with money, meaning like she's smart, she's wise with money.
Or he's the most savvy person I know. Interesting. I didn't know that that word was in Spanish.
I didn't
Huh.
either. I know. I
Huh.
was surprised. I'm like, I feel like that happens a lot. Some words, it's pretty clear. We know these come from Spanish, and then others, sometimes we're surprised. I didn't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
pronto either. I didn't realize pronto was from Spanish.
It could, yeah, savvy, the base of it, sav might come from a lot of romance languages, might be present in a lot of romance languages, but we'll have to
Probably.
look into that
Hmm.
for sure. Okay, Aubrey, role play time. Shall we do it?
Yeah, you and I are headed to the airport to take a flight. You could tell I'm ready for a vacation. All the role plays are about vacations.
You better book something soon, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. All right. Hey, we need to get going pronto.
Sorry, I'm not quite done packing. Not very savvy of me to put it off like I did.
It's okay. We have time. Hey, I reserved a cabana by the pool for tomorrow.
Nice. Do you know if you can order food delivered to it?
Yeah, it looks like you can.
I can't wait to order chips and salsa with a pina colada.
Oh my god, that's my worst nightmare, having to go like, you're still packing and you have to leave for the airport. That is like a recurring nightmare that I
It's so
have.
funny. This probably would give you so much anxiety because I'm
So
supposed to be
much.
packing, and I'm like, "I'm gonna ask you about the cabana and talk about the food. I'm excited." You're like,
Oh my
"Please stop
god.
talking and start packing."
Yeah, we're going to the airport now.
It's
Scary.
funny.
Oh gosh. All right. Making me nervous just recording the episode.
Right,
Okay.
I love
I
it.
have to get up tomorrow morning at 4
Oof.
a.m. to get to the
Ooh.
airport. So
Oh, Lindsay,
this is
yikes.
hopefully not,
This
putting
won't be
bad
you.
energy into the world.
Make sure you're packed before you go to bed tonight, and you'll be
Yes, I
fine.
will do for sure. All right, so here we go. I said we need to get going pronto, right?
Yeah.
And I don't do you hear people saying this nowadays? I mean, do people say this in your world pronto or is it
Yes.
more something? Oh yeah, okay. Yes.
Absolutely, yeah, so I wonder if it
Huh.
is more even our proximity to Mexico, but I say pronto and I hear
Ah,
pronto a lot. It might be just more in
interesting.
Arizona, I don't
Okay,
know.
okay, okay,
California
okay. Like
probably too. You'll have to
I think
listen
you
while you're in California. Are you going to hear pronto?
well, I was actually going in a different direction. I think you'll hear it in movies a lot, right? Kind of
Mm,
his like movies just throughout American culture, just hearing it in movies is what I but yeah, I'll listen in next
yeah.
week when I'm
It's
there and
probably
I'll
I think
see.
my parents said it and their
Yeah,
parents, and
that's
so
what I
it's
mean,
sort of passed down, like,
historically.
our family said it for sure.
Right, okay, okay, Well, that's TBD, to be determined. We'll
Yeah,
come back to
interesting.
that.
We're gonna start listening. We're gonna start listening for pronto.
Yeah, what else, Aubrey? What did you say
And
here?
then I said, "Ooh, not very savvy of me to put it off." Meaning like, "Ooh, that wasn't very smart, not very wise." This is how I often use savvy, like, "Ooh, that wasn't very savvy of me."
Yeah, and then it's okay, we have time. Oh, I'm being very cool. "Hey, I reserved a cabana by the pool for tomorrow." Right?
Yes,
Yes.
and so that means and this often is the way it is. A lot of, resorts, if you
Mhm.
want to have these cabanas, these shades, you have to look into reserving them because they might be first come, first serve, but then if someone reserves it, you're gonna get kicked out.
Ah, interesting, interesting,
Mhm.
interesting. All right, I like
And
that.
then I used some food words. I said chips and salsa with a
Mhm,
pina colada, which is a very
mhm,
delicious coconut pineapple drink.
mhm. You know what's kinda interesting about this is I'm thinking about it now because my aunt, lived on a street in Southern California that is calle, like
Mm, calle.
Calle, and so as a Spanish speaker, I would say Calle X, the street name,
Mm,
but I think it's a half and half. So I think the neighbors, some people say Calais, Calais,
mhm.
whatever it is, and then I say Kaye or sometimes I say Calais, but you end up
Interesting.
saying both. So you'll get on the phone as a native speaker of English, and you'll say, "Oh, the address is, 621 Kaye or Calais X." It's kind of interesting how you have
That's
to kinda
really interesting.
negotiate with what you think they know or how you think they deal with those words in English, right? It's fascinating.
Oh, that is fascinating because most words, we all say them the same way, right? We say
Right.
burrito, tortilla, jalapeno. That's funny. My
Yeah.
husband, intentionally to be funny and annoying, says jalapeno
Yeah.
whenever he says
I've heard
jalapeno.
that too.
You've heard that?
Yes.
Oh, so funny, but most of these words,
That's a
we
joke,
all kinda
right?
pronounce them the same, but yeah, that's a
Right.
joke that someone will
Yeah.
say that. And then but every now and then, yeah, there's a word like calle, where
Right.
if you don't speak Spanish, they might not
Mhm.
realize that this word
Right.
comes from Spanish, and they might really anglicize it and pronounce those
Right?
L's.
And I think you might find a difference between, let's say, a suburb in Southern California versus LA. Like,
Right?
if that were West Hollywood, I think it would probably always be Calle.
Yes. All of
But
Southern California,
yeah.
all of Arizona, likely, we would say calle. A lot
N
more of us learn Spanish because there are quite a few Spanish speakers who live here with and, but
right.
elsewhere in the country, you wouldn't
Well,
necessarily speak Spanish.
so I was actually making a differentiation between a small town in Southern California versus LA, all in
Oh,
California.
interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that could
when I
be.
have to call her HOA board sometimes, I'll find that I have to say both. in the small
Interesting.
town in Southern California versus the city. So I don't know. This is out. The jury is out. We have to go investigate now, Aubrey, and see what we're
Yeah, but that could
hearing.
be related to the same, a lot of when people are immigrating to the United States, often they're working in big cities, they might not get out to the small town. Maybe they don't wanna live in a rural area, so it might not be quite as common for them to have a lot of Spanish speakers as neighbors.
Yeah, right, right. And so they're not used to it. So really interesting. And
Yeah,
this is what I love about the US, right? We have this incredible diversity. We have words from all over the world, different languages, and we can negotiate that, you know?
I love it. I know it makes it we're a melting pot, right? It makes the language interesting, it makes the people interesting, so yeah, I love it.
All right. Any other takeaway for today, Aubrey? Any final advice for our
Yeah,
listeners?
just don't hesitate to use loan words, right? Native speakers shouldn't be the only ones adopting and using all of these words from different languages. It makes you sound more native and natural when you throw in Spanish and French words into your vocabulary.
Yes, good stuff. And go back and check out that episode we did about French. We may have done one on Italian once, but we'll probably revisit that. Maybe we'll go to
Oh,
other
yeah, we
languages
should.
too. German, Polish,
Nice.
who knows? We're coming back for it, right? I
Love
love
it.
it. All right, good stuff, Aubrey. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.
Bye.